Good evening and welcome. 22 people in the house before me. Wow. 2 thumbs up. We hadn't said nothing. Just 2 thumbs up for good evening and welcome. Thank you. Okay. Fire away. Fire away, you Barcelonian bargain hunters. Good evening, Simon Spruce, Kieran Evans, Christopher, Phil Watkins, Alan, Matt Crew, Kieran Murphy, Paul Jarvis, Oliver Swift, John Griffiths, Sandra Dinning, Andy Orr, good evening to you all. 32 people in the house. Wow, look at that. It's getting busy, isn't it, eh? Obviously, there's no football on at the moment. So, tell me what you've been up to. Fire away. Throw these questions at me. Big Barney. Good evening, Big Barney. Oh, we're not going to have a Big Barney tonight. Good evening to Sue. Susan, everyone's saying good evening, Sue. Andy said good evening to you, Andy. Did you see the videos of your dog, Andy, when he was younger? Put them up. I think I had 2 offers for that dog, Andy, of yours, if you want to sell him. Good evening, Peter Taylor. Just got in from playing with the ball with Jackson Harley. There you go. Kieran Evans, I say Darcy had no e-collar on. You didn't watch the whole video then, did you? You didn't watch the whole video. You only watched the beginning. The bloody new mule you got your hands on can flip and move. Paul Jarvis. No. That's kilometers. It only does 40 miles an hour, but compared to 25, when my old one does 25, they've got a governor on them, haven't they? They're speeded down. But the one I'm getting does 40. So when you're on the main road, you're not slowing traffic down like crazy. Some people get impatient and they want to overtake. So I think Karen said, what are you doing with your old one? Well, I did a deal with the old one. That's why I'm buying that one. He offered me as much as I paid for it 2.5 years ago. So I thought I can't go wrong with that. That's part exchange. And my old one was 2009. So it was knocking on. But nothing wrong with it. I've really enjoyed it. When I say it looks really quick, it's not really quick, but 40 is a lot quicker than 25, and you get there in half the time. And when I take customers out, if we're going 10 miles down the road, it get there twice as fast and twice as fast back. No one's got enough money for him, Chris. There you go, Andy. That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear. Okay. No questions yet. I mean, what am I here for? 3 minutes and 39 seconds and 8 thumbs up, and I've not even answered a question. 45 people in the house. I just think you just enjoy a good piss up, you lot.
Yeah, but the thing, didn't watch all the video, but did Darcy have a collar on?
But then you need to watch all the video. The idea is I'm making you think. And I sometimes put up quick 2-minute videos. I sometimes put up an hour video. And it shows me how much people watch my videos on percentage wise. And it's so easy to copy someone, isn't it? And clone yourself on the way the person is. But what I want you people to think, you Patreon clients to become better trainers, because anybody can copy, right? And anyone then doesn't know why we do this and why we do that, or why the dog thinks the way it thinks. And I'm showing you the psychology behind what the dog thinks and how the human thinks. And it's really important. I've just been trying to load up a video and it was loading for 3/4 of an hour because it's another, I think, 30-minute video. of Darcy in the woods for the first time, and a lot of you said, well, not a lot of you, some of you said she lacks drive. Trust me, she's not going to lack drive. By the time we finished, she's going to look very nice. But there's a difference between. I mean, it's a fantastic situation for you people on Patreon to watch the progress of Dougie, Jay's dog, that is a small gene pool of selective breeding to produce that sort of line, compared to how mixed and different the cockers are in their personalities and temperaments. And it's the problem dogs that you learn more from than the dogs that you just don't do anything wrong with. Because when your dog goes wrong, how will you know how to get it right? If I don't so Andy said I could sell you my Z900, that would make your mule shift along. Yeah, stick that engine in it, Andy. It will do. This is that new mule I'm getting is a 700cc Kawasaki engine, petrol engine, not a diesel. Petrol, not a diesel. The diesels are governed to 30 miles an hour. With a petrol engine, it will do 40. And I'm taking a chance with the petrol engine this time, but it's a lot quieter, a lot quieter. You wouldn't know. It's a hell of a quiet, but I like the design of it. And for going off shooting, it'll be absolutely fine, no problem at all. Okay, yeah, Andy, 180 miles an hour. Yeah, not on Jersey, not on Jersey, Paul Jarvis. He's only got one straight that's a mile long. He'd take off if he tried to do 180 across there. He'd be in Guernsey, if you go the right way. Put a ramp, Evel Knievel. Is it 15 mile or 22? You have to tell me, Andy. I mean,
France is only 14
you go the other way. You go to France, yeah. Go to one of the French islands. But Andy will have to tell you about them. Anyway, Peter Taylor. Arlie is getting the hang of it now, Chris. He's going out with some vigor. Nice. And when he comes back, he nearly knocks me over when I go down on one knee. There you go. Well done, Peter. You're going down on one knee. Hey, Black Lives Matter. So does white Springers matter, don't they? Hey, Frisian black and white Springers matter. I said I wouldn't go down on one knee unless it was Sue or the Queen, and the Queen was Freddie Mercury. Okay, they are proven engines. You'll not go wrong. I didn't know that, Andy, but I was reading about them and they said they're really reliable engines. I don't know nothing about the 700cc petrol engine, but the one thing that made me do it is the fact is he's been so reliable. He's been such a fantastic tool for doing work out the back. What are we drinking tonight, sir? I'm just pouring a gin. Good for you, Dizziness. Good for you. Yes. I'm on. I shouldn't really show you this because on Sunday I showed you nearly a full bottle. So now you now know I've got a drinking problem.
But they didn't know before.
They didn't know before. They didn't know I had a drinking problem before. But it's very, very drinkable. But my darling wife has put ice in it, and the ice is takes the richness away from it, and I do like it. I'm looking a bit dapper. All I've done is put a shirt on, children. Come on, Jason. Dapper tonight. Springers Lives Matter. That's the only time I will go on one knee. There you go. I did for the wife. I did when I offered to marry her. She turned her back on me, but yeah. The next video you're going to see, she turns her freaking back on me as well. Don't you worry, everyone. I said to her, do you want me to put this up? She says, well, it's just you, innit? But you watch the next video. She freaking tell you, I can't get eye contact from her. I'm telling you, I can get eye contact from the dogs eventually, but can I get a freaking eye contact from the missus on camera? No, because she doesn't want to be on camera. I don't blame her really, because at the end of the day, like I say, I'm very self-conscious. Your only drinking problem is one mouth and two hands. I used to like you. I used to like you, Adam. I'm going off you drastically at the moment. Hey, Adam, any news? Honestly, it's like the Mary Celeste. Don't look like you have a problem drinking to me. I think it's like everything in life, isn't it? Everything in moderation except sex. And that's what we've got to really think about. Everything comes down to sex, really, doesn't it? When you think about it, it de-stresses us, it excites us. Dogs think about it. All animals think about it. Even the women think about it sometimes. But us men, every 10 seconds, I reckon, don't they? So I've got to keep my mind on the right thing. Did you give her a correction for no eye contact? No. Do you know what, Peter? I've just learned that you can teach some dogs new tricks, but not old dogs new tricks. She is here. She's listening. She's listening. Nah. What does nah mean? What's that for, Lars? What's that for? Anyway,
Paul Jarvis asked a question anyway.
less is more, except for a drink. No, I think you've got to moderate it, don't you? You've got to control it. I mean, not being funny, I can put drink on the side and not have to drink it all. Some people can't. What's this? What's Dizzy saying? She freaking turned Hebrew or something. Have you the question started yet? I want you to ask questions. That's what I'm asking for. I'm just trying to fill in. I'm trying to be like just to get the show running. Like, I'm trying to answer questions. I got 60 people in here and 12 thumbs up, and I ain't answered one question yet.
Well, Paul Jarvis asked the question.
Paul Jarvis has asked the question. Jesus, give Paul Jarvis the. All I've got here is Paul Jarvis, 180 miles an hour.
No, this is
I think I might have a same problem as Darcy. I think I might have the same problem as Darcy. Have I given the dog too much freedom? But when I bring the ball out, the focus is unreal. Any advice? Well, I don't know, Paul, because I can't see your dog. You'd have to send me a video of your dog. The next video that we're putting up on Patreon about Darcy is a very interesting video for you all to watch. And the owners are watching, but they feel slightly embarrassed because, and I'm not talking out of school here. I'm trying to educate people. I'm doing it. And he said I can put the videos up to educate people. And without people like these people with these dogs, then it won't help people, because if we only put up dogs not going wrong, how do you learn? How do you learn? And where do you learn? Do you learn by copying, or do you learn by questioning things? And this is what's important. And this is important to me, that I'm now beginning to ask you on Patreon for your opinions. Your opinions show me how much you know about dogs. It doesn't mean I'm going to rip a hole in your ass and say to you, you're a freaking idiot. You ain't got a freaking clue. Go away and rethink it. You shouldn't be freaking training dogs. I won't do that. I think there's a fine line between education, and because I struggled as a kid at school, all I got was beasted. And I don't think beasting people gets the best out of people. I think educating people and letting people think and question things is what we need to do in the dog training world if we want to get people on the side. Because there's too many people out there criticizing other people. And yes, they have a right to criticize them people, and they have a right to freedom of speech. But it causes friction in so many ways. And I'm beginning to question it. I'm beginning to think to myself, shall I just stick to myself and educating people on what I know? Or should I pass people on to you that I've suggested and recommended? But just because I've passed people on to you that I suggested and recommended, it doesn't mean that I believe everything they do or everything they say is the way I would say it or the way I would handle it. And that's the nice thing about the internet. You can watch as much as you want. Pierre's in the house. Good evening, Pierre. Hi, Sue from Pierre. I think that's the nice thing about the internet. If you don't like it, switch it off. It's simple. But you can be bombarded with people telling you this is the gospel. And if you're not careful, you become a follower rather than a person who questions it. And if you see people being beasted and bitched about on certain forums because they give their opinion, what does it teach people to do? Not ask questions, not give their opinion. And the idea is you guys have got to give your opinions. Do you know how the three amigos are getting on? Yeah, absolutely lovely, Matt. Yeah, one of them though moved home, and now he does agility. So he moved from a shooting home because the bloke locked him up and didn't do anything with him. And then when he took him out, he couldn't believe how he could hunt. And it's doing agility. But he gave it away for agility. He paid a lot of money for the dog, a lot of money for the dog. But each to their own, you know, at the end of the day, some people just want a steady Labrador at their side. A question for the masses. What video size reduction programs are people using to send videos over WhatsApp so I can send some to Chris? David Jones, I have not received your videos. I think you asked me this question on WhatsApp. I don't think they're dropping the video size, but they're keeping them down to about 3 minutes and then stop and then do another 3 minutes and stop and do another 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if you send me 4 videos of 3 minutes at a time, but I think as long as you keep them down to a level of about 3 minutes, then they'll download to us. So that might be right. Okay, I have one. Oh, she has one, does she?
But we got one that's important, really.
Come
I think everybody wants to know.
Come on.
Before you answer all the rest. How is Ray, Chris? I don't like contacting him unless he is fully fit. Well, you've got news.
Who asked that question?
Peter.
Peter who?
Taylor.
Yeah. I was waiting until we got everybody in the house because I didn't want to keep repeating it. I've had his nephew or niece come back to me, and Ray is a little bit better. He's still not brilliant, but he's definitely showing signs of better. So I was over the moon about that, and I was actually going to mention that to you all. So yes, there is signs he's getting better, but she said it could take, he or she said it could take a little while. So that's really nice. Thanks for asking. I wasn't actually going to mention it, but I was going to mention it literally once everyone got in here, because some people, you know, come in about halfway through because of work commitments or out with a dog and all that. 61 people in here, 16 likes. So Dizzy Lizzie asked the question, not what are we drinking tonight? That wasn't the question. Trust Sue to freaking tell me that.
How far would you say?
Hang on.
Up here.
Okay. Found you. How far would you say it's too far for a dog to go off the lead with an owner who has only just started allowing? I'm not good with maths, by the way.
For a pet owner, please.
Well, I've got 12 inches, but I don't use it as a rule. So if you exaggerate, what do you mean? How far would you say is too far for a dog to go off the lead? It depends if you've got a good recall, and if you're in a situation where there's lots of other distractions, then I would want the dog not too far from me. But if the dog is in a situation where the environment is free for the dog to roam, then I don't care how far the dog goes as long as it comes back when told. But it depends. Penny, I get really confused because you go Penny, Dizzy, Lizzie, Dizzy, Izzius. When I'm out with dogs, like Darcy, for instance, the videos of Darcy, and you won't have seen many of them, Pen, because you're not on Patreon. And I totally understand you're not into gun dogs, but we're teaching that dog to stay in an area where I want it to be because of hunting, not because of it means where I can shoot over it comfortably. And if I put the video up and showed you all the video, I could go to sleep for an hour because I could put the video up on here and you can all watch the video and then we could ask questions about it. But the thing is, I want people on Patreon who want to learn to come across and want to learn. I'm not giving it away on YouTube anymore because I don't need to tout for business in quite the same way as some people, because I've been on the internet for a long time. And if people want to come in and pay £5 a month, then they can pay £5 a month. I'm not trying to persuade anyone or make somebody feel guilty for not doing it, but I'm going in a different direction than everybody else in the dog training world. Everybody else in the dog training world wants to talk to everybody else and be very friendly with everyone else or be aggressive with everybody else. And I can't do it. I can't do it. I want to talk to people that I respect, like Gary Wilkes. You know, I respect Larry Crone, right? At the end of the day, I don't do everything that Larry Crone does, but I respect him. And I respect trainers that I look at and think, yes, I can see value in what they do. I made comments on Sean O'Shea's, on Russell's live feed. Some people are shunning Sean O'Shea and Jeff Gilman. I'm sorry, I'm not willing to play those silly schoolboy games. And if then someone doesn't want to talk to me or make comments about my comments, eventually I'll just stop talking. I'll stop going on their feeds and talking, because it comes to a point, it's them or us. And I don't promote people in my group and say this person's a brilliant trainer, that person's a brilliant trainer, and you should only be listening to us 5 people. I'm saying everybody on my Patreon site, I treat them exactly the same, whether you're very experienced or if you've not got no knowledge at all. I won't belittle you and rubbish you. I will give you constructive criticism so you can learn. But going back to Penn's question, it depends how far you've got control. And the greatest skill is allowing that dog to have that freedom. But do I want the dog out of sight? No way. No way. Do I want the dog as a pet dog? I don't train pet dogs, do I? So how far would I let my dogs go? 30 feet. Recall them at 30 feet. But whenever I'm nagging them and recalling them all the time, they're not enjoying life, are they? So they learn the boundary without pressure. But when I start to tap into the hunting, they want to be with me because everything's found close to me. But the thing is, Penn, that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for more knowledge, more understanding, and you're following a number of people. And I totally understand. And you're hungry for knowledge. And I think that's wonderful. And you're compassionate enough to listen, but don't get caught up in everything. Well, that's all I can say to everybody on here, because it's so easy to get your mind screwed. Because if you turn around and say gameplay is not a way of teaching a dog, I disagree. I disagree. One of the best dog trainers in the world at his sport, well, he is in a way, is Ivan with protection dogs. He preaches gameplay all the time. I preach gameplay all the time. So if I go onto a forum and listen to someone saying gameplay doesn't teach dogs, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You could say treats don't treat dogs. They do teach dogs, but you become a dispenser, a food dispenser. So there's a limit, but there's a limit with gameplay with the ball drive and the dummy drive. Someone said it on here earlier. They said the ball drive is phenomenal. Then I get eye contact, but without that, the dog, I think Paul Jarvis, when it said that, then the dog wants to be away from me and he doesn't want to give me eye contact. That's exactly what's happened to Darcy, 2 years old cocker that's been loved, absolutely loved and pampered, and she's taken over completely. She's becoming a different dog. The mindset is changing. The discipline I'm giving, she loves me more for it than not giving it and letting her get away with what she wants to do. Now, any pet people, any snowflakes out there watching this is going to go, you're joking. You should be doing it with love and affection. You should be doing it with gameplay. You should be doing it because the dog wants to be with you, but you should also be setting rules and boundaries. And that is no different for a pet trainer as it is for a competition sports person. And Chris Fraser, for instance, is right when he says you have to look at the people who've been in the sports side of it to see how they have got the best out of their dogs, and then you have a better understanding. Because the better trainers out there are the people who've gone down the sports route, learned how to win with dogs, and learned how to back off and not put too much pressure on them, but get the results. And that's what it's important about, right? Christopher Hanley, isn't it? Hanley. Hi, Chris. Do you know of any dog trainers up here in Scotland? My friend has a GSP and he's having big problems. It's taking over. Yeah, if you want to, Andy Cullen. If you want to speak, go on Facebook and put in Andy Cullen. Andy Cullen does a lot of GSPs, and he is Scottish, and he travels up and down the country. So if you want to speak to someone on GSPs and you want to speak to someone, go and speak to Andy Cullen. He has got a Patreon site as well. I did look. He hasn't got that many videos, funny enough. And I think he charges you £15 a month, or maybe £10 a month. Not knocking him. He's one of the film stars. He's a nice chap. He can train a dog to a good standard, and I would recommend him. So there you go. Hi, Chris. I've had to take the. You've had to, have you, Chris? I have had to take the two dogs out for the last 2 days with the tennis racket, with the weather. Is it detrimental doing it with both dogs, even when I can't sit Jack's up? Well, Arlie goes out for it.
Even when I can sit myself.
Well, no, you're teaching Jack steadiness, aren't you? And Harley's having a retrieve, so you're using Harley as a distraction, and it's good for Jack's. The tennis game is a great game, and if you've got the steadiness of your dog, well, Harley goes out and gets it, then fine. But sometimes let Jack's go and get it. But you can create jealousy. It's like having two wives. I keep telling you, we should all have two wives, if not three, especially with a high drive person like me. Well, used to be, not so much no more. Not tonight, darling, is my answer every night.
Got another one.
Especially as I don't get no frigging eye contact, especially in the dark.
You got another one about Scotland, training in Scotland.
Okay, come on
Gary
then.
McDonald.
Gary McDonald. MacDonald. Right, not McDonald. MacDonald. You said MacDonald. Okay. Honestly, she's in the back doing Donald Duck impressions. Can you recommend a trainer in Scotland? I need to try to introduce my cocker bitch onto cold game and shot, but I don't have any real estate or means to. Any real estate. Bloody hell. Yes, Gary. Andy Platt. Lockerbie. I don't know what part of Scotland you are, but it's nearer than moving towards me. If you contact Andy Platt, good cocker trainer, honest cocker trainer, honest breeder. There you go, Andy Platt. No problem, Pen. I think that the more I watch the internet lately, the more I get depressed. And I don't get depressed very often. Gary may be Andy Cullen, but I don't know where he is in Scotland. He is. That's because he's in Northumberland. Cullen is Scottish, and he does. Yeah, well done. Mark Welsh. Chris, pack animals, I need to be led. Yes, pack animal needs to be led, or else it will take over. Mark Welsh. Exactly, but we've got that argument, haven't we? How many people will tell you it's not a pack animal and all this shit? At the end of the day, let's go back to that video that you guys were watching on Patreon about Darcy, and I was saying, is this dog got an e-collar on or has it not got an e-collar on? Can you tell me, has it got an e-collar on? The idea is the day before I took it out with the pack for the first time, she stayed close to me because she saw me as the security of this big, powerful pack all running around her. And it was like a kid going to a playground for the first time. Peter Piper's late again, 10 press-ups. Like I say, I'm not dominating anybody. 10 press-ups, Peter, now. So what I'm saying is she came out with the pack and I've used jealousy. She's been in the cage. She's seen the other dogs going out every day. She's been in the run. She's seen other dogs going out every day. And now she's starting to make a little bit of whining and crying because she wants to come out with them. So I took her out with the e-collar on. But I took her out for the first time with the pack. I used the e-collar as emergency and I didn't use it once. I used it as emergency get out jail card, but I didn't use it once. Why? Because she stayed with the pack. Why did she stay with the pack? Because a balanced pack will show the dog where it should be. If the pack is around me, then that's where the dog will want to be. I put a video up on Patreon this morning showing you what happens when a dog is pulling out of the pack and wanting to do its own thing miles away from you. It takes your pack with it. So that is where you create a problem if you're working a pack of dogs or a group of dogs, if you want to call it. But I heard somebody say the other day on a live feed that you don't train dogs with other dogs. I disagree. You put bad habits into dogs with other dogs, and you put good habits into dogs with other dogs. But it doesn't automatically mean your pack will train the dog. It means your dog will sometimes follow the pack. A balanced pack is a dog will learn good habits. An unbalanced pack, a dog won't. Hello, William. Good evening. what I'm saying is, then I've put the video up today asking you, is she on the collar or is she off the collar? And then I've given you the explanation and let you have the live the voiceover on it to explain to you why I did that, to show you, because so many people went, wow, what a difference. The owner's going to be dead happy. The idea is she stayed with the pack for one reason. She feared the pack slightly because they were intimidating her as a group of dogs, and they weren't plowing into her. She just think, I'm staying with Fat Boy because Fat Boy will look after me. So she stayed with me for that reason, not because she had the e-collar on, because I wasn't using the e-collar. So the following day, I took her out on purpose without the e-collar, with a smaller pack that weren't going to run into her and bother her and sniff her. And so she'd stay with me for security. And you saw exactly what she did. She wanted to open up and take in ground. The one good thing was it proved that I've been enforcing the come here. I've been strengthening the come here in a number of ways, and I've been showing you that with the e-collar, with the verbal cue, with the long line. I've taught the behavior. I've strengthened it with the e-collar. I didn't teach nothing with the e-collar other than I strengthened that behavior. And then today we've took her out and we've taken her in the woods for the first time, and you'll see that video maybe tonight late once it loads up, or maybe tomorrow morning, and it will open your mind to how the e-collar used as a magic flute Have you ever heard any other dog trainers talking about the magic flute? No, you haven't, because they're not gun dog trainers. Now, we all know we want the dog to quarter in front of us within gunshot and find game with its head down, not lift its head up and steam off into the distance like Darcy's been doing. And you'll see a different dog in the woods because I've built it up. No, I don't. I do not do that. I've never tested a dog or a bitch before mating them. It either happens, it doesn't. But I don't breed off anything that I'm not happy with. But only one survived. It may just be mating a bitch just has very small, and I'm gutted. But only one has survived. Do you know what? That can be just pot luck sometimes, and it's just one of them unfortunate things. I've had bitches before who's only had a couple. And I've had bitches who had big litters and sat on them, and sat on 3 or 4 of them, and other bitches. I don't believe. I think in letting nature take its course myself, but I've never had a test in all the time that I've had dogs, to be honest with you, in that way. I'm sorry about that. So what I'm saying is, going back to the video that I was hoping to get up tonight, so you could all talk about it tonight, because your Patreon customers, we've got 72 people in the house and 25 thumbs up. So that means that 3/4 of you don't like what you're seeing. Is it the shirt? Is it the shirt or is it the hair? Have I cut it too short? Right? Because at the end of the day, I'm beginning to start to think to myself, I'm going to have to get myself a fitness trainer and a speech therapist to put myself out there and be a lot more. Hello, Chris Upton here. Right? Because obviously everyone else is getting the thumbs up. And this fat little dog trainer is getting views, but he's not getting no thumbs up.
Can't put
what did she call me? She's freaking rude, isn't she? She's rude, isn't she, everyone? Did you hear that? Really loud, wasn't it, as well? She could have just stuck 2 fingers up to me, but to call me that was disgraceful, isn't it, on here, in front of you lot? It's degrading. Yeah, would you think them thumbs up cost money? Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? Think them bloody thumbs up would cost money, wouldn't you? You know, oh, we got 30. Look, we got 2. We had 3 guilty people there. No, at the end of the day, I'm just having a laugh with you. At the end of the day, I do this for people who are interested. Hello, Dad and Mum. I'm here. Katie Upton's in the house. Honestly, she'll be taking over next. Well, by the way, everyone, this is important. That little cow bag, my daughter, Katie Upton, was on the Patreon site the other night on the live feed. She don't pay £5 a month. Karen said to me, Chris, I haven't been paying because I had a problem with my card or something. His card was had a problem with his credit card or something. And he said, but I can see your live feeds. I just thought I'd let you know. And I said, well, don't worry, mate. If you can see it, don't matter. I never thought nothing about it. And then I thought, how the bloody hell is my daughter watching me? She ain't never gonna, she's like a mother. She's never gonna pay £5 a freaking month to watch her dad on Patreon. And yet she's watching the live feed. So guess what?
I made a comment.
It turns out anybody can watch the freaking live feed on Patreon. So what we're gonna have to do, everyone, he can't get away from me. So everyone, you're gonna have to have a freaking password on Patreon, aren't we? And I'm gonna put it on Patreon for Patreon customers only. So for some reason they didn't tell me on Patreon that because I put everybody can watch it, it means everybody can watch it. So I should have made it password. So we're gonna have a password in future on Patreon to keep people like Katie out, and then she don't know what we're saying about her, right? Because I like the Patreon being a little bit more private, that people can say things and it's not going to offend anybody on the big wide world. And not that we're bitching behind people's back in a nasty way, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit more private than on public. Like on YouTube, anyone can watch this, can't they? So there's always a catch. Tell me about it, Karen. Honestly. But we sussed it because I'm thinking, Katie being in the house, if you had a nice young kennel maid stood behind you, you would get loads of thumbs up. Yeah, do you know what, Andy? That's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking of trading Sue in like the mule. Right? 2 mules for Sister Mary. 2 mules for Sister Mary. I could have 2 young birds, couldn't I? One doing kennels and one doing the kettle, putting the kettle on. We could call one Polly. I might find something else for a few of them. I might need 3. That woman over there, I reckon she can do the job of 3 women half her age. Honestly, I wouldn't know what to do. Do you know what? If I trade her in, I think I'd miss her. I think other people might send her back because they couldn't handle her, but I think I'd miss her. Thanks, Andy. Look at the face on that. I'll put a thumb down, Dad. Yeah, but you can't on this. Oh, can you? Oh my God, you can put a thumb down, can't you? Anyway, we're in a good position. 69 people in the house. Oh no, it's back to 17. Back to sex again, isn't it? Can we just get on and answer some freaking dog questions? Because I'll tell you, I get distracted so easy by you lot. Could we just not? I mean, there's not that many questions being shot out here, is there? Come on, this is supposed to be a dog training site. You're supposed to be learning from me. I think you've had so much information on Patreon. I think you just want to. I think Sue is wonderful. She's a lady and a saint putting up with you. You little bugger. Pen, you're a little bugger, honestly, I tell you. I used to like you, Pen. I used to like you. Shall I have another one? Bloody hell, Chris, you're getting soft. Must be the new style. This is what I've realised. There's no point in being too direct, because people who are being too direct don't get a real strong following. They only get a certain clientele, right? Who like to bitch. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to change. I'm trying to be Zach George lookalike. No, not really. That is a bloody joke. Come on, let's have some questions. Let's have some serious questions. I want you to test me. No one's asked about the 4 quadrants lately. The 4 quadrants seem to have gone out the window. Chris, what length is correct for tail docking? Well, me being slightly thick, there's the tail, and I'd take off that much. So a puppy's tail, the full length of a puppy's tail I'm showing you, it's not that big really. That's my finger. And big fingers means no, don't go there. So what I'm saying is I take off that much. But if there's a white tip and you've got a little bit of white tip, sometimes I leave it slightly longer because the white tip when the dog is hunting looks flashy. But you don't take off. I mean, look at Darcy's tail. Look at Rafa's tail. They've ruined those dogs. Ruined them. They've hacked them right off to the backside to about there, look. And what happens if it's a rudder? It's something to steer with. So when it turns quick, it helps control the dog when it's turning. It looks stylish, and when it's in the water, it works as a rudder. There you go. Hi, Chris. I haven't watched you for a while. Thanks very much, Lee. My cocker is now officially a pet. Oh no! But I've been putting into practice enough of your training that I hope it all pays off this October on his first shoot. Hang on, that's contradicting yourself, isn't it? That's contradicting yourself. Something crazy, that is. Hi, Chris. I haven't watched you for a while. My cocker is now officially a pet. Okay, but I have been putting into practice enough of your training. So you remembered my training because you've not watched me for a while. That's great. That I hope pays off in October on the first shoot. I hope it does, Lee. I hope you come back and buy me a bottle of whiskey because you've never paid, have you, you tight Barcelonian bargain hunter? Have you any trade secrets for how trialing dogs are trained? Yeah. Some of them are like robots. Some of them are that scared they want them polishing their shoes. They don't want them hunting. Others let them get out and hunt and show what they're good at. I don't think there is any trade secrets on trialing dogs. I think the biggest mistake you can make is speak your mind at any point in the first 10 years of your trialing career. If you do, and they don't like it, you're fucked. How about that?
Actually, there's a Clifford Mark.
But if you suck up to as many trialing people as you can, and you buy their dogs left, right, and centre, brown nose them, eventually you'll win. Freaking hell, I thought it says Mark Clifford. It says Clifford Maitland. Hi, Chris. Am I better joining Patreon when my Cocker Spaniel puppy gets to a bit older? He's 14 weeks and I don't want to turn him into a robot. Regards, Cliff. I think that's a great question, Clifford. Cliff, you had me there, didn't you? Robot. Regards, Cliff, because I thought Clifford was your name and then it's now Cliff. Have you ever read that book, Over the Cliff by You Go Too Far? Anyway, let's get back to sensibleness here, because it's honestly, once you get on the bourbon, that's it, isn't it? Great question. Great question. 14 weeks old. It depends how much you know, Cliff. I call you Cliff, not Clifford. It sounds better, doesn't it? It all depends on what you know, Cliff. If you really want to know about gameplay and not putting the control into the dog too soon, because 14 weeks, I've seen people putting them on a place board and boring the freaking shit out of them. Right, so if it depends what you want to go, and you can't say, hang on, Chris, the people who put them on a place board and bore the shit out of them haven't got a clue. No, some of them are the film stars. Some of them are the film stars. But are you really seeing what you're getting? That's the question you've got to ask. As simple as that. That's all I can afford to say, because if I ever wanted to trial again, I've got to be careful what I say. Okay, I'm not really worried about trialing, so fuck it. I don't train dogs too soon on place boards. Why? Because you teach them to be performing monkeys, but plenty of people do it, and some people will say they get results, and some people will sell the dog down the road. It's as simple as that. I see so many dogs sold down the road. I listen to people who are honest and upfront, and when I listen to people like Ivan who say he does not put pressure on a young dog, and he allows that puppy to go through that puppy stage before putting suppression into the dog, and all he's doing is building gameplay, drive, desire, the reason he wants to be with you. Imagine that you're 3 years old and you go to reform school and they beat you into submission like they did in the 70s when you went to remand centers or Borstal, and they beat you into submission because they said what they need to do is give you a short, sharp punishment, correction, short, sharp message. Right? At the end of the day, did that make us better people, or did that just harden us up? That's the question you've got to ask. You've got to look at life and think, well, are these students who've had everything given to them, pampered, students who were running around kneeling down and Black Lives Matter. And I'm all for, I don't like racism, right? And I'm all for equality for everybody. And I know some people have had it worse than others, but guess what? Some of them people who are rioting and kicking off, if the government get hard on them like they are in America at the moment, they will shit their pants. As simple as that. But if you keep letting them bark a little dog and you keep letting it snap and snap and snap, it gets braver and braver until someone stops that behavior. And that's exactly what's happening with society. We're running away with the idea that correction is not acceptable. Correction is part and parcel of life. If you go down the, what did Sue say today? She said a very good thing in the car, and I've got it on tape. She said to me, we're talking about the e-collar was, and she said this without me prodding her with a stick. I didn't prod her with a stick. Listen to this, everyone. That's why we've been together for all these years. She said it's like having a car. Years ago, you used to have to crank it. I thought, fricking hell, she's never cranked a car in her fricking life. She don't even know how to open the fricking door without a key. She's dead right. Years ago, you used to have to crank the car to start the car, and if you didn't get your hand out the way of the crank, you'd freaking break your arm. Now we've got ignition keys that start the car straight away. Years ago on diesels, you had to wait for the heater plugs to warm up before you start it, didn't you? Nowadays, with modern technology, we don't need to do that. And that's exactly the same as dog training. All these people rubbishing these tools need to go back to school. They need to go back to school and start educating themselves. It's as simple as that. Because in the right hands, used correctly, they're fantastic tools. It's the same in the bedroom, isn't it? In the bedroom. What did you have 40 years ago for entertainment in the bedroom? You never had rampant rabbits. You never had things in the head going around like a freaking... Now look, we've got amazing array of instruments. It's like a torture chamber in my bedroom.
Yeah, but they may have had real men in their days.
You know what she said? They may have had real men in them days. Her in the corner talking about real men. She's had it too freaking good, everyone.
Right, there's some questions.
Go and get them fluffy dice. Clifford's same as, hang on. Clifford, same as rough shooting man, but Patreon is made for you and your dog. It generally covers all aspects from pup through to finished article and problems recommended. I recommend it fully. Do you know what, Clifford? I don't need to explain myself, do I, when I've got people like Michael, an Irishman, right, agreeing with a Midlander and enjoying Patreon and paying £5 a month. That's what I appreciate. People from all walks of life, from all different religions, from all different colours, coming in and enjoying Patreon because it's open for all. Because I treat everybody equal, whether you're the lord of the manor or whether you're a pauper living in a council house. I treat people the way I want to be treated. And my site is set up to help people. And I'm not saying that other sites I follow, I don't appreciate in many a way. But parts of it, I don't agree with. But that doesn't mean I've got to agree or we fall out. If they want to fall out, I don't give a shit. Fucking unfriend me, block me. I don't give a shit. I've been blocked by that Nikki Butler, right? Why? I thought she likes to give her opinion. Of course she likes to give her opinion. But at the end of the day, am I going to fall out with Nikki Butler because she's blocked me? No, but I can speak my mind. The difference is, why did she block me? Because I spoke my mind. If you don't like it, argue it, discuss it. But I was on her site, and the people on her site, everything a few people said, everybody jumped on board and agreed with and attacked other people. And I thought, hang on, I've been listening to you for a number of months. You talk shit. You talk shit because I read your comments and don't say nothing because I'm too polite to be rude to people on a group of somebody else's group. But when I read some of the stuff and I think to myself, you haven't got a freaking clue. And yet now you're rubbishing someone because someone else is rubbishing. They're like sheep, some people. Some people will just get, and that's the nicest thing about my Facebook site. When I've had the odd spat with people, people don't need to back me. They listen, they see what I'm talking about, and some of them may agree with what I say, but we don't get into a bitch fight with people. There's no need to get into bitch fights with people, is there? Because life's too short, isn't it? Life's too short. That's what taught me last week. Yet again, another freaking lesson. Pain. That's what taught me pain. My brother jumping off the Salthouse Bridge. I'm not just saying this because I'm not looking for sympathy in any way. But I found out today that he was in the house for 13 months because he couldn't go outside and face the world. He never contacted me to say, I need help, Chris. I'd have been there if he did. So does that make me feel better or worse?
Yeah, Paul asked her how you were getting on.
And at the end of the day, everyone, I've got to get on with life. And yet it's tragic. And I feel so much for his daughter. And it toughens people up. It hurts people deep down. You don't know the psychological effect it has on people. But we all handle things different. And my first reaction was, how could he do it? That was my first reaction, because my mindset doesn't suffer from depression, or if it does, I get out and do some freaking work. I get on and train some freaking dogs. Not when I'm angry, but if I'm feeling slightly down, you have to motivate yourself. And that's the same with dog training. If you're angry, you shouldn't go out dog training. But sometimes dealing with people who come here and having to focus takes all that stuff away from you, all that baggage away from you, because you've got to concentrate and give people what they've come for, a lesson. And I throw so much passion and emotion into my lessons. That's probably because I am a caring person and I want people to get to a good standard with their dogs. As simple as that. But now I found out that my brother spent 13 months locked up inside the house with mental health issues, anxiety. He couldn't face the world. Isn't it funny how mental health, they got no help when, if they don't ask for help, they go, hang on, he's got the capacity to ask for help. He's got to ask for it. But so many people don't ask for the help, do they? And that's the same with dogs. People keep going, fear aggression, is it genetic or is it a training problem? Fireworks, is it genetic or is it, I don't care. I don't care whether it's genetic or whether it's a problem that the dog's picked up because it's been pampered. The idea for me is to get over it. I don't analyze all the shit that the dog's gone through. I don't sit people down and go, right, okay, 13 weeks, what did you do when you fed him? At 22 weeks, what happened in the relationship? You had an argument with your husband in December 30 in 1973, I was told. Do you think that could have affected the dog? And he banged a cup on the table and the dog jumped. No, I don't hold baggage like that shit. You got to move on, and you've got to move on, and you've got to cope with life, and you've got to get these dogs to not worry about problems. And there's many easy problems to get a dog over gunshiners and fireworks or thunder. It's simple. You have to change the mindset. Change the mindset. And if you get depression, and I don't suffer from depression, thank Christ, but if I feel slightly down because of everything's not working and things go wrong in life, then I have to motivate myself and push myself so I don't go into that deep, because the human mind is a very, very strange thing. It's a very, very strange thing. But the psychology of the dog's mind is a very strange thing. And the psychiatrists don't even know how to cure the human mind, who can give you the answers and give you the reasoning and the rational reality of talking about it, laying on a couch and talking to your psychiatrist. Jordan Peterson went to see 6 psychiatrists with his problem because he was on antidepressant tablets, and he became, what's the word? When you become addicted to them. He then tried to come off them in one go, and it sent him freaking mental. So he was then had to go off to a Russian hospital, a scientist in Russia, to help him get over that. And yet he's on there telling you about the 12. He's on there telling everybody how they should be living their life and why we should be doing this and why we should be doing that. The mind of a dog, the mind of a human is such a complex thing, and each individual is different. We don't know what triggers this and what triggers that. I didn't know at the time whether my brother just jumped straight off the bridge because he had an argument with his missus. I have no idea. But I've now learned today, does it make me feel better? No, I don't think it does. I think it makes me feel sad that he couldn't reach out. Because if you reach out to somebody and open up, they can help you. But if you don't reach out, the society says if you have the capacity to say, I don't want help, they won't give you help. And yet your family can see you struggling with mental health issues. And does it give me, I don't know what the word is. Does it give me faith that at least the family knew he had mental health problems and it made it easier? But how would you know? How would you know? How could you put yourself in their minds? I just feel so sorry for them. So sorry for them. And that's what I'm saying. Winston Churchill called it the black dog. Yes, you're right, Julian Lees. You're dead right. Yes, you're right. I've read about it. And do you know what? There's so many people who go through that. I drove across Saltash Bridge the other day, and I thought to myself, as I'm going across, how do I feel? Where did he jump? I go across that bridge on a regular basis. Sue goes across that bridge twice a day. You know, and I'm thinking, you didn't think. But was he in the right mindset to think? Obviously not. Obviously not. So, like I said, when I wrote what I said on Facebook, I wrote it for a reason, because I didn't want to not say nothing so my family thought I was just a cold bastard. But I wanted people to know that I care, but deep down, what can I do? What can I do? It's terrible. But you've got to live with these things, and it's not. This is the sad thing about it. My other brother committed suicide. Now you could say, is that hereditary? Are you going to do it, Chris, under pressure? I seem to cope with pressure better. I seem to thrive under pressure. But hey, we've all got that trigger. We've all got that trigger. And so you've got to realize that it's management. You've got to be able to open the box and put it in a box in the back of your head. If you look at the heads and the psychology side of stuff, then I've studied that a little bit on the internet, because I'm interested in that sort of stuff, and I'm interested in the dog's mind, the way the dog thinks, and the way that Darcy rules you. She controls you. It's wonderful to watch. It's wonderful to watch a dog that's 2 years old, sweet as anything, but rules you, owns you, controls you. And yet within 2 weeks, I'm changing the mindset. Now, I didn't think, will I change the mindset? Arrogance and confidence is a very fine line. I just went, yeah, give me this dog. I'll show you. Not to show the owner up, but how must the owner feel when he starts to see progress in 2 weeks when he struggled for 2 years? And do you know what? All he's done is given her too much love, the whole family, given her too much freedom, given her no boundaries. And it's a shame that he doesn't want me to put up the videos that he sent me, because it would show how gentle and loving he was with the dog, but how the dog has not responded in the way you'd expect the dog to. The dog has said, I'm going to own this, Gaff, and you're going to do everything I say. This is what dog training is really about, everyone. It's the deeper side of it, not just tell the dog to sit, teach the dog to sit, teach the dog to come here. That's obedience training. Anybody can teach that. It's knowing when to put the stop on the dog, when to put pressure on the dog for the retrieving, when to make the dog hold it, when to force the dog, when to say the dog is now taking the Michael. And that's what this is about. Like I say, everyone, I thanks so much. I had so many people on Facebook, and I didn't reply to them all. I just liked their comments. I didn't do it about my brother because I'm looking for sympathy. I want people to realize out there, mental health is a big freaking problem. and they have not got the funding. Now, I'm going to say something that perhaps other people might not like. Everybody in my family who've had real mental health problems that I can go back and talk about have either had drink problems or drug problems. As simple as that. And the drug problem seems to be the worst, where the drink problem can make some people nasty when they're drunk, but they're not nasty when they're sober. They're nice, decent people. The drugs seem to get people depressed and down with some people. Now, some people can take drugs and get away with it. They may have a stronger personality, stronger mindset. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But what I can say is everybody who struggled in my family, and the people, I'm going back generations as well as mental health. And you could think, hang on, is it one in the family? Are we all freaking got a mental gene? We may have at the end of the day. I don't think I'm personally 100%. And definitely Sue's not, and she's not even related to me. So Michael says mental health is a very fine line. There are 72 people watching this tonight, and it's important that people understand it's okay to reach out if they are having problems. Thank you so much, Michael. Cheers to you. I toast you. Thank you very much. Karen, you're dead right. That's why I like this group. I like this group because we're not bitching and freaking firing at everybody. We're having a laugh at these snowflakes who take the piss and want to come into my world and tell me that I don't know what I'm doing, and they can't even get the dog off the freaking couch. And that's what I'm saying. Like Pierre says, Chris, we'll never know. We've been in that situation as well. And I'll tell you what, it's like, it's so sad, but at the end of the day, life goes on. We can't just give in and say life's not worth living. I think that I live on adrenaline. Addictive personality traits, like Sue said, you was obsessed with last YouTube page. It's about harnessing the passion. I don't know what you're on about. Like Sue said, you was obsessed with the last YouTube page. Sorry, William, you got me on that one. I think it is about harnessing the passion. But if you've got an interest in life and it gets you out of bed every freaking morning, I live on gin and crisps. There you go, Liz. There you go. That's the way. That's why I've always liked you. It's coming down, everyone. But ask this question: how often do I get drunk, Sue? To be honest, say it loud.
Only when Soul's here.
Only when Soul's here, she says, little bugger. Only when Soul's here. And yeah, I've had some drinking sessions with people, and we've gone to bed with a bit of headache who've come here. But it's social. It's social. Do I drink too much? I probably do. Simple as that. I probably do. Do I eat too much? I probably do. Do I probably have too much sex? I probably do. Right? Am I a candidate for an early grave? Probably am.
But have you lived your life?
But am I enjoying life? You freaking bet. You bet. You get out of life what you put in. And if you become motivated and passionate for something, can't beat healthy diet, Penny. Peter Piper. My sort of girl, says Sue to Penny. Honestly, this is just a piss up, isn't it? I bet you're all sitting there chuckling, aren't you, you bastards?
That leaf braid you put to.
So Lee's asked a question. Sorry.
No, it wasn't a question. It was literally.
Lee, inexperienced.
No, one off again.
Chris, I've always wanted my cocker to be a working dog and working dog only. I don't mean to seem. I don't watch your advice for a while. I just took a back seat as he was too young, and I was too. No problem at all.
No, I was too. Then he goes down underneath.
Inexperience knocked him back. So I've had. So how did you knock him back, Lee? Did you start training him too soon? Is that what you're saying? You knocked him back. Tried to implement your experience. Now he's matured, and I'm seeing a massive improvement. Well, that's exactly what it's about, Lee, isn't it? That's what it's about. At the end of the day, I'm not going to spend my time on the internet feeding bullshit because I want people to come here training. I'm not interested in that. I'm too old. I'm too old-fashioned. I speak my mind. I say what I feel. If it offends you, I'm sorry. But I don't go out of my way to say, I don't want to be hated. I don't give a shit what people say about me. That's a load of rubbish. I do care. But I'm strong enough to say, well, I can, that doesn't bother me. I can get over that. I'm not a snowflake. But sometimes I'll argue with people. I argue with people because I actually like good debate. But half the debate I get into is so pathetic, you're wasting time debating. So I've learned over the years that when someone freaking has a go at you, and people do, the best thing you can do is just not bite with them. But on the odd occasion, you've got to stand up just to show everyone you don't mind taking on the film stars. I mean, look at the Robert Elaine. What did he do? Did he ruin my business? No, he didn't. But he did his freaking best too, because he tried to get every freaking woman over the age of 50 to hate me. Yeah, and go on, Susan Ellie said
yes, Chris. Too young. He's only just started to mature up now. He's 2 years, 2 months. So yeah.
Yeah, look, Julian Lee's, he's a smoothie little bugger, isn't he? Gin, Chris, Penny would be perfect for me, you bloody smoother. Watch him, Pen, watch him.
William,
put your squirrel skin away. Hey, he'll be sending you a squirrel skin in a minute, Pen. It's hell of a funny, everyone. Who was it? Simon Spruce, did we send a squirrel skin to this week? And he won it a few months ago. Desperate he was to win it. And he said to me, oh, by the way, Chris, I'm not being funny, but did you send that squirrel skin by any chance? I said, oh, damn it. I've been so busy. I forgot about it. So I went down to the post office on Saturday morning and I'd wrapped it up wrapped it up, passed it to her with the address on it. And she said, they say it every time. And she said, can I ask you what's inside? I said, a furry vibrator. And everybody in the freaking queue started sniggering. And she looked at me and went, I'm being serious. I said, you can have a feel if you want. You should have seen her freaking face. You should have seen her freaking face. I said, but the batteries are not included. I'm only joking, Julian. Julian's only joking as well. He's a lovely chap. Lovely chap, honestly. I wouldn't trust him with Sue, though. He's just your age, Liz. Oh! Can you put a link up at the bottom so I can join, please? I'm not Facebook. I'm 50 years old. Clifford, I know exactly what you're saying, mate. Everyone seems to struggle at the age of 50. It seems to be a stumbling block for anybody with modern technology to struggle. If you just go into, is it Corleone Gundogs, everybody? Christopher Upton. You'll have to tell me. On Patreon, is it? Just have a look on Patreon. See, it say Christopher Upton. Matthew Cloud just pledged £5. So we got a Matthew Cloud just joined Patreon if anyone wants to know. But like I say, I don't know how to share it on here. I'm the same, exactly the same. But don't forget, I've got an excuse. I'm dyslexic. There you go. Simon's got the squirrel skin. Cheers, Chris. It was brilliant. And he sent me a picture. And that's lovely, isn't it? And that's all down to Jules. That's all down to Jules. That's not me. That's Jules who does all that hard work. That's because we've got people on here. Like I say, anybody who's just come on, Ray is making a recovery. Charlie Tango 1. We're over the moon about that. He's still not very well, but he is making a recovery. He's starting to talk about Black Lives Matter. So she said he must be getting better. So you've got to laugh about that, don't you, everyone? Pen, you need to get more protein into your diet if you're using that much toilet paper. Stop it, you lot, honestly. This is supposed to be a serious dog training seminar. No, it's not. It's questions and answers now. And have a good freaking crack at the expense of Chris. I don't care. You can all talk to yourselves. Don't worry about me.
Patron, it's Christopher Upton, Corleone Gundogs.
Thanks a lot, Kerry. That's good. Chris Upton, Corleone Gundogs on Patreon. So you just need to go into Patreon and you need to join. Look for people on there, and then you can just join in there. And it's £5 a month. And I've done it for £5 a month, so everybody can afford it who wants to learn. Because yeah, Peter Piper, good news about Charlie Tango 1. Yeah, I mean, I was over the moon because honestly, when the message came through and it said this is raised, because I thought, oh no, please, I don't need this shit at the moment. He's such a lovely guy, we would be lost without him, but he is an old boy, isn't he? And at the end of the day, we don't recover from that sort of things quickly, do we? You know, that's the old point, isn't it? So I say just hope he's on the mend, and I've missed him. I've missed his banter as well. He's such a lovely old boy. I love him. I say he's a lovely
on
boy.
it, Clifford.
Eh?
He's on it. I'm on it, Clifford.
Who's on it?
He's looking now.
Oh my God, Peter Palgood. Sorry. We'd be lost without him. Yes, we would, Paul Jarvis. He's a lovely guy. Great night, guys. Well done, Chris and Sue. Catch up with you next time. Well done, Jules. Well done here. So there you go, everyone. We've had an hour and 10 minutes. It's been a great night. I'm now going to retire to the bedroom, the dungeon, with my darling wife, because she says she likes a man without any of the tools in the bedroom. Right, so that's what we're going to do. And anybody else who wants to have any questions answered, either if you're on Patreon, we have a real questions and answers on a Sunday night at 8:30, and we go on for 2 hours on there, and we answer the questions, and we challenge each other, and great group of people. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in building a group of people that are dog people from all different sorts of aspects of dog training, if they're interested in learning. And majority of them are gun dog people, but we've got people on there, and they're on there for the right reason, because they want to learn. They're hungry to learn the knowledge, and the knowledge isn't being passed on. People are holding it back and not passing it on. So there you go. Bollocks to you all. And we all know what that means, don't we? Anyone who's not watching is going to think, the rude bunch of people on there. He was on there for an hour, and they all said bloody bollocks to him. But I did see it. Somebody did send me a thing the other day, bollocks, and they explained the different meanings of bollocks and what bollocks means. I was amazed, because one of them was the dog's bollocks, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be the dog's bollocks, and that's what made me say, let's come up with that saying, rather than saying good night, everyone. Very nice evening. Bollocks to you all. So thanks a lot. Chris Upton signing off, and I'm going to go and sit down in my dark room and listen to some classical music.